Going on, everybody? Angelo here. It is Saturday. I think it's like the 19th or something. And making a video. I didn't make a video yesterday or the day before that, I think. A little bit about what I've been doing. I saw Deadpool 2 on Thursday. It was awesome. Definitely go see it. Won't give anything away about it. Been doing good. Little over, we're going on almost 3 weeks now without my medication. I've been completely sober for about 3 weeks now, which is awesome because my body's finally starting to get rid of all the aches and like the leg cramps and stuff and the nausea and not being able to sleep. Like, I'm finally starting to get back to normal, which is really cool because it's weird, you know. It's a little scary because I do have, you know, ADHD, ADD, OCD, bipolar disorder. I have real bad anxiety issues. And you could tell that the Suboxone that I have been taking and the Zubsolv, it had helped me so much with just my anxiety, really. You know, my depression and my anxiety. Whenever I would take it, the only thing that would really depress me is that I had to take it. You know, I didn't like the fact that I still had to take this stupid fucking medication. But it made me kind of forget about everything else and feel better about myself. And so now that I don't have that, it's like, shit, well, kind of hard to sleep now. My mind is in a million places. My girlfriend's been making fun of me for the last 3 weeks because I can't seem to shut the fuck up for some reason. Like, I just like vomiting out of my mouth, constantly having a million things going on in my head. And what's fucked up, there's nothing I can really do about it. I can go to a doctor, you know, go to a psychiatrist or whatever, talk to someone, and which I've done before in the past when I was a drug addict. I tried to talk, you know, do therapy, and it doesn't work. Just like religion didn't work for me. So then people say, okay, well then you need to get on a medication. You know what I mean? You need to get something that, you know, is going to help you. The problem with that is the only thing that's really going to help me is something that I'm going to get addicted to, such as Adderall. People want to subscribe me fucking Adderall, and it's like, okay, well, you know, you tell them you used to be a heroin addict, and they're like, oh, well, you know, Xanax will help you out. Xanax will really calm you down. And it's like, are you fucking stupid? Like, I don't want to take Xanax. I don't want to take Adderall. I don't want to take fucking, you know, and then they're like, oh, they got Vyvanse or this. And it's like, well, why? It's like, my logic is kind of stupid because it's like, if I'm not going to take like something serious that's going to actually help me, like Adderall or maybe Xanax or something, I would rather just not take anything at all. But then it's like, okay, how do I cope with this new me? You know, like, I'm not used to it, and it's so crazy. And that's what this topic of this video is going to be. And that's like life after you're sober. And it's crazy because I was a really bad heroin addict when I quit 3 years ago. Now you got to take that into mind. I haven't shot. I was shooting heroin for 3 years, so I was a pretty bad addict. I mean, I was as bad as it gets. It doesn't really get much worse than me, you know, especially at, you know, 17, 18, 19 years old, you know, 16, 17, 18, 19. I was as bad as someone that had been doing it for 30 years. Physically, it didn't destroy my body because I'd only been doing it for 3 years. But mentally, it definitely fucked me up. I feel like I'm a little bit of a schizophrenic, man. I talk to myself randomly. And that's like why I feel like I make these videos, because it's like right now I'm talking to myself, but it's like I feel like I'm not, because I'm making a video for YouTube. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But I've totally changed as a person ever since I got sober. And it's funny because I've been sober for 3 years, but I've only been sober off the Suboxone and that stuff for about 3 weeks. So my body, after 6 years of taking heroin and then switching over to Suboxone, which I still think taking methadone and Suboxone and Zubsolv, you're still a heroin addict. You're not sober. When people take Suboxone and they're like counting their days of sobriety, you're a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? That's like typical, don't count your chickens before they hatch. okay? And this is coming from someone that never thought they were going to get off of it, get off the medication. I thought I was going to have to take that shit forever. It was so depressing. And then one day I just stopped. You know what I mean? And, like, it's crazy how much you change. And it's like, people don't realize, it's like, I hate talking to people about drug addiction. Because as soon as you do, and I'm probably going to say some things that maybe will trigger people. If these videos ever get views, I don't know, probably not. But if someone ever sees this, it's probably going to trigger them. I don't want to call it like a racism thing, but there's definitely a bad name. And I know it's deserving, but I feel like it's like once you're a drug addict, you're always a drug addict. Which a lot of drug addicts that have recovered will say that you're always supposed to remember your past so you never go back there. You know what I mean? You're always supposed to remember when you were at your weakest point so that you never go back there. And you should always remember the things that used to trigger you so that you don't go around them. And, you know, you should always be thinking about when you were a drug addict, which is fucking insane that people actually believe that. It's fucking retarded. And it's a simple thing of just, what do you do when you break up with a girl? Do you fucking stalk her Instagram? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're crazy, you do that, but the average person erases it from memory. And then guess what? The human brain, functioning at fucking whatever percentage it does, isn't able to process so many things at once. So eventually you forget about it. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where, yeah, my drug addiction will always be in my mind. It'll be something I'm always thinking about, but just in the last 3 weeks alone, I've gone days where it's something I totally forgot that I used to be a drug addict, that I used to have to take this fucking medication, you know what I mean? It's like, it's weird feeling like a normal person again, which is the whole thing I was trying to say with like the whole race thing, where it's like, people have this thing where it's like, once you're a drug addict, you're always a drug addict. And I'm a normal person. I have no physical, my teeth are fine. Physically, I'm not fat. I'm not underweight. I'm not a normal dude. But as soon as you tell someone you used to be a drug addict, I was a heroin addict for 3 years. I was addicted to Suboxone for 3 years, you know, and then I finally got off. It took me 6 years. At 22 years old, it took me 6 years to get sober off heroin, pretty much. So a lot of people look at you like, wow, you're fucked up. You know what I mean? And it's no different than a racist white person judging a black guy, or a fucking Spanish person getting judged by a rich white dude. You know what I mean? Or you know, the stereotypical Spanish people work hard for little money. You know what I mean? Or it's the same fucking thing with drug addicts. And I love how no one ever talks about it. You have all this SJW shit going on around here with all these feminisms and trannies and all this racist things. And no one ever talks about how fucking demoralizing and dehumanizing people treat you when you used to be a drug addict, or when you're still a drug addict but you're trying to get better, and people just are like, oh, stay away from them, you know, don't fucking acknowledge them. Like, you see a fucking crackhead on the side of the road, and what does everybody do? Instead of being like, holy shit, this lady's probably a schizophrenic that has crippling mental disorders and obviously can't fucking function in civilization, and what are we gonna do? We're gonna fucking record her and put it on YouTube and make fun of her running around fucking streets naked. You know what I mean? It's so stupid. The double standard in life, man. It really is. But oh, God forbid there's a fucking, you know, a black guy is getting fucking beat up by 3 white dudes on the side of the road, and it's whatever. But you see a fucking crackhead getting mugged by some fucking, you know what I mean? And no one cares. It's like, whatever, you know? Fucking stupid. But it's like, that's what this video is about. It's like, ever since I got sober, man, like actually sober, meaning like I got no toxins in my system at all. I don't take anything. Like, my brain, it's fucking funny, man. It's like, I am a firm believer that you should never remember bad things in your past. Yes, they should always be there so you can reference them. But what's the point in just bringing up bad things? Bad things are going to happen no matter what. It's not the guns that kill people, it's the people that kill people. I believe that. If you don't believe it, then, you know, that's your belief. This is my belief. I believe that people are the problem. I don't think the weapons or whatever you want to call society. I think it's certain people that get too much attention, and then it gets blown up, and people realize they can exploit it and make money on it by making YouTube videos and putting it on fucking TV, and it's bad stuff gets exploited, and no one ever cares about good stuff, No one ever takes a video of a person walking out of rehab clean after fucking 90 days. They always take a video of the person doing drugs on the side of the alley. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. But I'm a firm believer that you kind of have to put that stuff under the rug if you want to get better. And this is me talking from personal experience, someone that's done it. If you want, technically I've been off heroin for over 3 years. So, I mean, I guess I'm not a newbie to it. You know what I mean? I haven't had the urge to do drugs in over 3 years. Meaning any drug, really, whether it's cocaine, whatever. Benzos, Xanax, or Oxys, or whatever. But I've been 3 weeks clean off everything. And I'm realizing now, as the days are going by, I haven't been working. I've been sitting in bed because I literally just, like, a couple days ago started to be able to, like, it's a little gross, but, when you get off opiates, your body goes whack for like a couple weeks, to where like you're going to the bathroom like 5 times a day. You get nauseous. Your stomach will start cramping up. Your legs will start cramping up like a motherfucker. It sucks. But it's one of those things where it's like mind over matter, and it's really not that bad. Maybe take like a little bit of NyQuil at night, just like a little bit, you know what I mean? And like for the first week, and like you'll be all right, It's totally mind over matter. But at the same time, your first day actually sober doesn't mean anything. You gotta wait for the physical withdrawals to stop. And until those physical withdrawals stop, there's no point in counting your days. There's really not. Like, I've been sober for almost it'll be 3 weeks on Wednesday, which is like 4 days away. But it's really, in my mind, it's like not really 3 weeks. Like, I'm counting, but I'm not really counting, because it's like, to be honest, I don't know 100% that I'm going to be able to stay sober. Yes, I have medication still in my drawer. You know what I mean? Like, it's been 3 weeks and my physical withdrawals are finally done. So realistically, knowing it, I'll never take it again. I'll never do a drug again. But it's like, for most people, they'll go like, 2 or 3 days, or 4 days, 5 days, even a week, and think that it's fine. But they're still living in the same area. They're still hanging out with the same people. They're still dating the same girl. They're still fucking home fighting with their parents about the same things. Nothing changes. And that's where I made the difference, to where, one, I accepted the fact that I used to have a problem. I went through the whole 12-step things. I understood I had a problem. I understood I needed help. But I also understood I was the only one that could help me. I was the only one that could get myself better. Once I got better, once I finally got that shit out of my brain, and I wasn't just suppressed mentally, because that's what the medication does to you. It suppresses your imagination, your thinking. It shuts you down physically too. Your fucking metabolism slows down, everything. You just become a shell of yourself. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing I was getting at before with people judging you. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not who people are. No one's a drug addict. No one just, especially some people are crazy. Don't get me wrong. There's always exceptions to shit in life. But the average person that's a drug addict didn't steal things from their family members because that's who they are. You stole those things because you felt like you were fucking gonna die because you were going through heroin withdrawal, or because you owed someone money, or because your fucking, your boyfriend was beating you up, telling you to have sex with someone for money so he can get drugs. You know what I mean? It's like, people don't realize the shit you go through as a drug addict. To be honest, way worse than if someone's calling you a racist name. You know what I mean? There's kids that will go through schooling and, be called fat, or you're a fucking, you're a fag or something, or, you know what I mean, you're call you the N-word, and it gets all this hype, you know what I mean, but you call a drug addict a loser, you know what I mean, or you're fucking bum, you know what I mean, like, it's just as insulting. If anything, you're insulting my person, people say, oh yeah, well, you can't control being gay, or you can't control being fucking black. You can't control having a fucking drug addiction either. You can't control having a fucked up childhood and your parents smoking crack in front of you, or fucking, your dad raping you, or there's so many different fucking reasons why people do drugs, and everyone just puts it all together like, oh, you're a drug addict, you're a terrible person. There's so many fucking reasons. So many different drugs that people do different for different things. And it's like, I hate getting balled up in this just, oh, you're a drug addict, you know? You go to NA meetings, dude. Like, no, not all drug addicts gotta go to fucking NA meetings. Not all people that used to do drugs still steal stuff and lie. Like, I've become the most honest motherfucker ever. I used to lie more than anybody, man. More than anybody. I could lie to a cop straight to his face. You never know. I've done it multiple times. And I pride myself on that to this day. But it's one of those things where it's stupid. And I don't do it anymore. Because I'm finally realizing that it's like, it's no way to live, man. It's not. If you're going to live your life hurting other people, it's fucking, you know what I mean? It's fucking sad to say. But if you're going to live your life hurting other people, then why don't you just move the fuck on? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, man. It's like people talk about suicide like a crazy thing, but wouldn't it make more sense if the person that was going to shoot the fucking school and kill 10 people would have just killed himself instead? But everyone would be like, oh yeah, well, you know, we should arrest these kids that were bullying him. You know what I mean? Like, the kids were bullying him, so that was why he shot the fucking school up. You know what I mean? Like, tell you what. If you can't take a little bit of fucking bullying in life, you're probably not ever going to get a job. You're probably not ever going to get out of your mom's fucking basement. You're never going to pay your taxes on time. You're never going to have a fucking girl that's ever going to fall in love with you. You know what I mean? It's like your life's going to be shit anyway, dude. You know what I mean? If you can't take a little bit of bullying, if you can't just for once in your life stick up for yourself and punch a motherfucker in the face, move on with your fucking life, dude. Don't hurt other people. And that goes with everybody. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how many times I talk to people and they look at you like you're fucking disgusting. Like, oh, you shot up heroin? Oh my God. You know what I mean? Like I'm a different fucking person. It's fucking stupid. It's ignorance is what it is. But the whole point in this... I'm sorry, I got carried away here. The whole point in this video was supposed to be a positive video. And it's about after getting sober. A lot of people get sober. Well, they think they get sober. But they don't change anything. I am a firm believer in order to get sober, you have to change everything. And that is why I don't believe you have to remember your past. Because realistically, you're probably not going to stay sober if you're living in the same fucking neighborhood that you were when you were doing drugs. You know what I mean? I had to move across the country. I moved from New York State, Wappingers Falls, about an hour and a half from the Bronx, to fucking Orlando, Florida. Okay? I know I don't have any friends. I have one girlfriend and 2 dogs. I have a mom and a sister. And then I have my girlfriend's parents and siblings. That's it. That's in my life. Okay? So when people are saying, oh, I went to rehab for 90 days. I made all these sacrifices. You know, I'm going to the gym again. I'm doing this. It's like, dude, the micro doesn't mean anything. It's the big picture. You have to restart everything. Everything. And if you can do that successfully, which is fucking hard... I know by personal experience, moving away from your friends is the hardest thing in the world. I used to cry daily at fucking 19 years old. Cry because I missed my friends. That's how much of a friendship I had with certain people. I cried because I had to leave a girlfriend. And it was just, I felt comfortable there. I felt like I knew where I was. And when I moved to Florida, I knew nobody. It sucked. I stayed reclusive for about a year. And then I started meeting people. And things started getting better. And now I'm at the point where I'm finally off it. And now that I'm off it, I'm realizing that instead of remembering the past, or instead of even trying to move forward from where I'm at currently, I have to go back to where I began. And I'm not saying, like, go back to when I was an infant and try and, like, rebuild my life. I'm talking about go back to when I started drugs, which this is very circumstantial because of, you know, I started drugs at a young age. So, you know, if you're fucking 40 years old and you get into heroin and you sell all your house and you know, your kids, you ruin everybody's life, this might not apply to you. But for me, it does because I started at a young age and I managed to stop at a decently young age. Started when I was about 16, 17. And at that time, my life was... not perfect. My family life wasn't perfect. But without being dramatic, I can't say it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. There definitely wasn't a reason for me to end up the way I did. My mom was, it was terrible growing up with my mom. Didn't really have a father figure in my life. Never really knew my dad. I had great friends, though, who had great families, and they pretty much raised me. And that's why I say life wasn't terrible, because I was that kid that was healthy, never had any mental issues, really, besides a little bipolar and ADHD. But physically, I was always fine. I was always the popular kid in school. I was muscular. I had goals, you know. I wanted to join the military. I wanted to go to college. I used to work out every single day. I was 165 pounds. I used to be able to run a 6-minute mile, okay? Under 6 minutes for someone that has asthma, okay? I have asthma. Be able to run a fucking 6-minute mile, okay? Without having a fucking asthma attack. I prided myself on that. I used to be able to curl 100 pounds in each arm, like, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. At 165 pounds. Mind you, I'm like 5'8", okay, 5'9". And I'd be able to bench like 300 for like 2 reps. Which is pretty impressive, I think. Meaning I was very physically at, 17, being able to lift fucking, 18, being able to lift 300 pounds. It was pretty impressive for being 5'8", 165 fucking pounds. It's pretty impressive. So what I'm trying to get at, though, is I had goals. I had structure, which is very important. That word is very important. I had a ritual. I had things, I would wake up every morning the same day. I would brush my teeth the same time every day. I brushed my teeth in the morning. I didn't brush my teeth at night. You know what I mean? That's the difference in having structure or not. And it's like, okay, you're going to eat lunch at 12, or you're just going to eat lunch at maybe 12 one day, or 2 the next day, or 3 the next day. And I'm realizing now that the 2 most important things for me are structure, meaning I need to get a job again. I need to get something where I have something that I'm constantly doing every day. I need to get back in the gym, because when I was 16, right before I got addicted to drugs and went crazy, that was the biggest thing in my life, was comic books and the gym. And then my friends came next, hanging out with my friends. I don't have friends anymore. My body is shit. So it's like, okay, well, what makes sense is going to the gym. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the gym, get a gym membership, and I'm going to get a job. And then we'll see. We'll see how I feel. And then that's when I'll be able to give you guys, I'm sober. Because then I'll be able to see if it's something I know I'm going to be able to do long term. Like, stick with the gym, stick with the job, and not get fucking fired or want to quit after a year. You know what I mean? But, yeah. I make these videos to... I said this in the last few videos, but I make these videos for myself more than anything, but also to help people. I understand the things I talk about, and also because of my personality, other people are going to think that I'm, stupid or ignorant. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think I know what I'm talking about. I listen to other people talk about their stories, and it's almost like it's a fairy tale. You know what I mean? It's almost like when I hear people talk about their drug addiction or their rehabilitation, I can tell if it's going to work or not. You know what I mean? Which you never can tell. I mean, I could go sober for 20 years and all of a sudden relapse. You know what I mean? And it happens to the best of them, man. It really does. Look at, well, I guess Heath Ledger's not a good example because I don't know. I guess he was a drug addict for a while, but he never really got sober. But there was that one guy that was an actor. I forgot his name. But he was, like, supposed to be sober for, like, 20 years, and all of a sudden he died of a fucking heroin overdose. This was around the same time, like, Heath Ledger died. In 2008 or something like that. But, yeah, I'm babbling now. I'll let you guys go. 25-minute long video. Hope everyone has a great day. Have a good Sunday. And I'll be seeing you guys around.